Mr. Fantastic might be the most broken hero in Marvel Rivals Season 2. I recently hit one above all, and I have never seen something like this. Like, the crazy part, I know you might be thinking, what the hell is this guy on about? But Rocket Raccoon is considered the most OP hero in Marvel Rivals at the moment, right? Well, according to this, Mr. Fantastic has a higher win rate than Rocket Raccoon, coming in at a 55.61% win rate, while Rocket Raccoon has a 55.4% win rate. You could argue that yes, Rocket Raccoon is easier and there's only one tricks who play Mr. Fantastic, increasing the win rate, but you have to also look, this is across 85,000 matches of Mr. Fantastic, while Rocket Raccoon has 350,000. Is there really, you know, like 20,000 Mr. Fantastic one tricks increasing his win rate? I don't think so. Use the logic, Mr. Fantastic apparently is a sleeper OP hero, even better than Rocket Raccoon, apparently. So why is this? Well, we're gonna have to look into the buffs of Mr. Fantastic. You see, Mr. Fantastic has an increase to his health by 25. His punches do 5 more damage in inflated state as well as normal state. His backshots ability has a new effect where it gives 35% slow, but they did reduce the cooldown to 10 seconds instead of 8. Well, increase the cooldown. They also made it a little bit harder to gain elasticity, so going into inflated state takes a little bit longer. And the bonus health you get is now 400 instead of 450. But the biggest new feature is his ultimate immediately gaining bonus health equal to his inflated state, which is 400. So you don't have to charge up your inflated state. Just use your ultimate to be tanky in it. You can gain an instant 400 hit point, just like Penny Parker, and become like a superhero. Funny. But there is a new tech where essentially what you can do is you can go inflated state and then whack a bunch of people, and once you get low in the inflated state, you can activate your ultimate, having another 400 hit point and being tanky inflated mode, which just makes this DPS character into basically a vanguard, especially having the most hit point as a duelist. You'll see a lot of times at the end of every score stats that not only is Mr. Fantastic having a lot of damage, he will also have a lot of damage blocked, making him a hybrid DPS vanguard and being a very good frontline for his team, and of course having the ability to dive the enemy supports with his inflated state. Besides these buffs, how is he in his current state against enemies and with certain team comps? Well, the playstyle of Mr. Fantastic is pretty interesting. So basically, your whole goal is to get inflated state to dive the backline, or just DPS whoever is on your backline as well. If they're diving, you just peel. If not, well, it's time for you to dive, and if they focus you, you gotta go. So what you do as Mr. Fantastic is you just basically slap the front line, try and charge as much elasticity as possible. The fastest way to do this is you right click before the team fight starts. Like, you can right click nothing and then it'll be on a 6-second cooldown, so you get 30 elasticity off of that, and then right after that you can just punch people, use your E, spam it, and then by the time you do your fantastic combo, kind of, you'll have another right click charge, so you'll be around 100, and then it's time to be a DPS tank monster thingy that slaps you around. Once your inflated state is down, it's kind of rinse and repeat and go back to normal mode. Like I said, you frontline until it's inflated mode and slap everyone, but as a frontliner in normal Reed Richards mode, you actually do have an insane amount of survivability. For instance, your backshots ability gives a shield, right? It might not be too much, but it gives your allies and you a shield. Your futile attempt also gives a 300 damage shield and reflects it right back at the enemy, dealing a decent amount of damage. So whenever you're in a pickle, you just activate it and then repel all damage that comes to you, and hope to God your team is healing you, because otherwise you might die. And also, if you have Invisible Woman Sue team up, you can actually activate it after a futile attempt to cancel the animation of Sue team up and just have it healing you and give you overshield while you basically wait for enemies to shoot you. So Mr. Fantastic has a lot of survivability tech, making him one of the few heroes in the game to be a, honestly, he's kind of like a vanguard at this point. Yeah, he's probably one of the only DPS that's like a bruiser. The other bruisers being Iron Fist and Wolverine. You could say Magic is one as well, but she's kind of more on the damage assassin side. Because all melee characters in this game have to have some survivability. Otherwise, someone like a Hell is just going to 2-tap them, right? Don't forget, this hero is one of the only heroes that have 375 hit point as a base hit point for a duelist. At this point, If he had 400 hit point, I wouldn't be surprised. He's also pretty good at anti-dive because even though it might be hard to hit a Black Panther, his arms do not fear, as you can hit basically whatever's on your screen and just, you know, do a loop around your screen and hit whatever's there. He has a cleave ability. If you move your screen while you're using your stretchy arm punch, it'll move with your screen, so you hit multiple enemies, causing his damage numbers to be super high, especially when both supports are ulting. And because he has a big cleave ability, he gains his ultimate very fast. Therefore, he is ulting like crazy, especially in these long fights. And for him, it's easy to peel his supports because he can just give him a shield as well as deal damage to the Spider-Man jumping on them or Black Panther. You can also easily damage them and stick with his supports. So he's kind of considered the new Bucky. Although maybe he can't one-shot them and do a lot of burst damage, he will just punch them off so they screw off. Mr. Fantastic does the job of Bucky as well as having the ability to dive enemy back line or just deal massive amounts of damage to enemy front line. Again, he's also the counter to basically every melee character in the game. He is probably the best melee brawler. He can easily 1v1 Magic, Iron Fist, all these characters. I'd say the one thing that he doesn't like is, of course, range characters that just spin on him and deal damage at a range. But, you know, once you get on them, you have the slow ability and you have 800 health. So it can be a futile attempt if the enemy ever tries to kill you. Also, he has so much survivability. The Susan Storm team up actually doesn't really matter too much. Like I said, he gets a free shield. He gets a bigger shield when he's inflated. And he's got a futile attempt ability. So 4 defensive abilities on a duelist. Ooh. Think about this. Also in the lower ranks, they don't do as much DPS as the higher ranking people. Like people playing Hela and Hawkeye are just one-shotting people as well as landing those shots. But of course in the lower ranks, are they really hitting their shots on Mr. Fantastic? Yeah, maybe they are. But maybe they are, especially in inflated mode. But they will be missing a majority of their shots. So therefore, Mr. Fantastic is always gaining his inflated state constantly and just being a terrorist in the back line and on the front line. Who can beat him? Not much. Can Strange beat him? No. Magneto? Nope. Not in an inflated state. As a group collectively, yeah, you can probably burst them down. But also, I saw a Mr. Fantastic main in One Above All, and all he would ban was Rocket. Well, at first, he faced a Rocket Raccoon and then he started banning it. But then he started hating Bucky. Why Bucky? Well, I think Bucky used to be the main antagonist for all divers. He can pull them, burst them down, kill them. But as of now, he did get nerfs. Of course, it's mostly to his ultimate. He still does the same damage, but Mr. Fantastic is very happy against this Bucky champion because Bucky would easily just shoot him down when he's trying to build up his inflated, do a bunch of damage, pull him in even if he needed to. But now that Winter Soldier has been nerfed, hey, Mr. Fantastic is running rampant. And of course, if they do not run a Punisher into Mr. Fantastic, he will be doing everything in his power to beat your ass down. Like I said, the only thing that is stopping Mr. Fantastic for being so fantastic is, again, good players, very high ranged heroes that do a bunch of damage. But even then, someone like Hawkeye can't one-shot him, so he's in a good spot. He can play the corner. He is pissed chilling. I actually can't think of something that can really stop him, except like, again, 3 DPS would probably be good into him. He likes comps that are low DPS, which happens a lot in low elo. Not because like their characters are bad, it's because they can't shoot as well as the good players, right? So I do think, you know, that win rate is, again, all ranks, which means no one is gunning him down in the lower ranks. But in higher elo, it does go a little bit lower. But to be honest, it's only about 53%, 54% win rate, which is still relatively high. And his ultimate, is it a good ultimate? Well, to be honest, it'll either kill the supports. It's a very low damage ultimate with not much defensive capabilities except bouncing around and dodging stuff. But it can force out a support out, and that's basically all it's good for. Otherwise, it is a very slow death if the enemy can't heal each other, and therefore his ultimate may not be the best, but guess what? His whole kit, his basic abilities, makes him very fantastic. But anyways, that's why Mr. Fantastic is the #1 hero, apparently even better than Rocket. But these are the reasons why he's so good. Main him for elo, or even just play him to get your elo. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.